Hello YouTubers, this is SHEM. Here in front of me is the brand new smartphone from HTC, which is the miniature version of company's flagship for 2014. Is the smaller model going to match its bigger brother? And is this a smartphone you should be interested in? You will find the answer to these and more questions in my full HTC One Mini 2 review. Unfortunately, the testing units from HTC do not come in their original packaging, so I'll not be able to do the usual unboxing. I did receive the original accessories with the device, so I'll show you what you can find in the retail box. In the original set, you'll find your HTC One Mini 2, which I'm gonna put aside for a moment, black in-canal earphones with red tips, a USB charging cable, a wall charger, and SIM and microSD ejection tool, which is missing here. Additionally, in the retail unit you'll get a set of instructions and a warranty card. Moving on to the smartphone build and design. The phone, similarly to the One M8, is simply gorgeous and makes a great first impression. In the front, on the top and bottom lie the plastic grills from BoomSound stereo speakers. On the right hand side of the speaker on the top lies the 5 megapixel front facing camera, and on the left the sensors. Below is a sheet of Gorilla Glass 3 protecting the 4.5 inch 720p display. Below the screen is a black stripe with HTC logo that has no buttons, which could be found in the previous model. On the left side there is a hidden nano SIM tray which you can eject using the tool. You insert the card by placing it on the tray. There is a plastic rim that surrounds the phone and brushed aluminum elements on the back. On the bottom lies the micro USB port for data transfer and charging, and on the right is the volume rocker and yet another hidden tray for the micro SD slot supporting cards up to 128GB in capacity. On the top there is a 3.5mm headphone jack on the left and the power button on the right. As opposed to the One M8, you won't find an IR sensor here. Almost the entire back of the HTC One Mini 2 is composed of 3 aluminum parts. On the top is a 30 megapixel camera module with LED flash, and below in the middle lies the HTC logo. The battery of the device is non-removable and the back panel is non-detachable. When it comes to the phone size, it's 65mm in width, 137.4mm in height, and its thickness is 10.6mm. The device weighs 137 grams. Under the top speaker grille hides an LED light, which unfortunately is not multicolored and lights up just in either green or orange. Thanks to the rounded edges, the device is very comfortable to hold, and I've never held such a handy smartphone before. In my opinion, its looks is gorgeous, and this is definitely one of the prettiest available smartphones. One thing that I should mention is that the power button located on the top is not very comfortable in everyday use and requires quite a bit of gymnastics every time you want to wake the device. The screen to frame ratio is also not very good. When it comes to the spec sheet, the HTC One Mini 2 is equipped with quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 clocked at 1.2 GHz, Adreno 305 graphics chip and 1 GB of RAM. There is also a built-in radio, Bluetooth 4.0, NFC and LTE module. The device comes with 16 GB of built-in memory, expandable by the SD card slot. The budget graphics chip and processing unit with only 1 GB of RAM are definitely not ravishing specs, and this translates into a low AnTuTu benchmark score. The phone achieved only 17,464, which puts it below some dated models such as the Galaxy S3 or the LG Nexus 4. Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, which is the direct competition, scored almost double. Of course, benchmarks do not always translate into real-life performance. I've tested HTC One Mini 2 with some of the most demanding games on the market, such as the Modern Combat 4 shooter or Need for Speed Most Wanted and Real Racing 3 racing games, and they run relatively smoothly. There were occasional frame drops and lags, but it was nothing too significant that would make games unplayable. Just 1 GB of RAM on the device means that multitasking is not really possible and that only 2 apps can be opened simultaneously. The others show up on the recently opened list as screenshots and don't in fact work in background. HTC One Mini 2 comes with a 4.5-inch Super LCD touchscreen with a resolution of 720 by 1280, which gives it a pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. HTC is renowned for some of the best displays, and here the company doesn't disappoint either. The screen has great viewing angles and contrast, the color reproduction is of the highest standard, and whites look almost identical without any shadows of blue or yellow. Thanks to high brightness levels, the outside visibility is also very decent. The display is sensitive and makes typing precise. If you listen to music a lot or you're an audiophile, the HTC One series of devices will be a great choice. HTC One Mini 2 comes with awesome HTC Boom Sound stereo speakers that are unmatched when it comes to the quality and loudness of produced sound. The sound on headset during calls is also outstanding, and it is in fact so loud that the HTC One Mini 2 was one of the first devices where I had to turn the in-call volume down because my ears could not handle the loudness. HTC One Mini 2 currently runs on Android 4.4.2 KitKat with Sense 6.0 skin from HTC. It offers a polished look and the skin is one of the prettiest available. One of the best features of the software is HTC Blink Feed, which replaces one of the home screens and offers you quick access to all your social media as well as favorite news sources. HTC also pre-installed a few nice looking widgets such as a rather pretty weather and clock widget with quick access to weather updates and a clock application with a nice wheeled clock. The launcher has a built-in theme support to quickly customize the look and there are 4 themes to choose from. On the list of apps you'll find the standard set from Google and a few others such as Scribble Notepad with handwriting support, Polaris Office 5, which is a full office suite that will let you quickly create documents, spreadsheets and presentations, an app called Zoe to share video highlights created with your phone that will launch soon on HTC devices, or a backup and restore app from HTC. Of course, there is also a whole bunch of tools such as the calendar, calculator, flashlight, FM radio, gallery to browse through your shots, music player or a sound recorder. Along with the purchase of the device, we get 50GB of Google Drive storage for 2 years, which is a nice promotion as normally 100GB would set you back $2 a month. In HTC One Mini 2 you'll not find either pedometer nor TV remote apps known from the HTC One M8 because the device is not equipped with the required sensors. There is also a very limited gesture support and a very popular double tap to wake is nowhere to be found. The HTC One Mini 2 has a built-in non-swappable 2110 mAh lithium polymer battery. Unfortunately, the big capacity of the battery does not result in long usage. During a normal day with LTE on and full screen brightness, I would get under 3 hours of screen on time and 10 to 14 hours of overall use. Of course, this time could be extended further with brightness reduction or extreme power saving feature on. Just for comparison, the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact achieved over 5 hours of screen on time with similar usage. Now let's talk a little bit about the camera in HTC One Mini 2. The main one on the back is the 13 megapixel module with autofocus and LED flash. You can select from 3 different shooting options in the camera menu: camera, video recording or selfie. Unfortunately, the dual capture and panorama 360 found in One M8 are nowhere to be found here. After selecting the camera, there is a menu with options on the bottom of the screen when holding the device in horizontal position. On the list of shooting modes there is auto, night, HDR, panorama mode, image stabilization, manual, portrait, landscape and backlight. Similarly to the One M8, the manual mode is very impressive and lets you not only adjust the ISO, exposure and white balance, but also the aperture value. When it comes to the quality of pictures taken with One Mini 2, it is very decent. Thanks to the 13 megapixel resolution, pictures don't lack in detail. Similarly to its bigger brother, sometimes the camera has problems with correctly adjusting the exposure value and the images look over or underexposed. Nevertheless, the One Mini 2 managed to take some stunning macros and landscape photographs and the low light results were very good as well. The 5 megapixel front-facing camera proved to be perfect for selfies that looked better than in most of the competition. HTC One Mini 2 records video at maximum of 1080p. Additionally, there is slow motion video recording and high frame rate 720p 60 frames per second option. The material looks good and here the phone had no problems at all. The final question is whether HTC One Mini 2 is the phone for you. It is definitely one of the prettiest smartphones on the market with a specification that should satisfy the needs of an average consumer. Its main positive sides are beautiful design, great screen, outstanding speaker and audio quality, and good camera. On the list of negatives are poor technical specification, uncomfortable power button placement, average battery life, and high price. One of the HTC One Mini 2's main competitors is Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, which currently costs a lot less and beats the One Mini 2 on almost all fronts. It is a shame that the manufacturer did not transfer all of its flagship specs into the smaller form factor like Sony. I hope that you've enjoyed my review. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button under the video and subscribe to my channel for more content coming soon. Also, make sure that you check out some of my other videos.